question isn't, is this an ambitious release schedule for MetaZoo's manga? The question isn't, do we want this to happen? Of course we do. This is massive. But the question on, I think, most people's minds in the MetaZoo community right now, in the MetaZoo fan base is this going to happen? Because this isn't the first schedule we've seen. This isn't the first long list of ideas we've seen, and that is what we're going to talk about today. This is everything you need to know about the recent massive MetaZoo update regarding the release of the MetaZoo original storyline in the form of a manga series. Let's go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Argos Anonymous. I am Argos. This has been a big week lately. The fan art blister packs have been announced to be shipping this week. They're at distributors. Karami's Cryptid Carnival is supposedly also at distributors. Will be shipping in the next couple of days. MetaZoo's really starting to kind of seems like they're catching up on things, right? Meanwhile, they have come out with a massive announcement regarding the MetaZoo original storyline, but that's something we need to talk about because let's be honest, if you've been in MetaZoo for a while, this isn't the first time we've gotten a big announcement about the MetaZoo storyline. I mean, this is something we've been waiting for a very long time that's been taking different form. And I'm not saying it's for no good reason. I do believe MetaZoo has a good reason for doing what they have done, but let's just like take a little journey down memory lane. I want to show you what we've seen so far. So, I mean, 2 years ago, 2 full years ago, long time, right? For people to be hanging out, we saw these MetaZoo illustrated novels. These are the original first 4 chapters of the original MetaZoo story, the illustrated novels that came out once upon a time. And we read these and they were cool. It was a fun, engaging storyline with interesting characters and an interesting theme. And I really enjoyed reading it. I read all 4 of these, and then MetaZoo released chapter 5 and 6 just digitally. And you can find all these on MetaZooGames.com. They have them all just on there, free and accessible. And if you read them, they're cool. And what we expected was what the announcement had been. Oh, look at this. This chapter 2 actually had a promo in the back of the illustrated novel, but you had to cut it out. And people were like, they were looking at the promo and they wanted the promo in a binder and they wanted to grade it. And they were like, I can't, there's no way I can cut this out and not damage it in some way. So MetaZoo made some revisions for the second edition of chapter 2. There was a first and second edition chapter 1 and a first and second edition chapter 2. And so for the second edition, they included the illustrated novel promo just in the packaging itself. So that was nice for collectors. Don't have to cut it out of the actual magazine. And then they did not continue doing the promo for anything else. So for whatever reason, you have promos with chapter 2. Chapter 1, you don't have a promo, you just have chapter 1. Anyway, so this story came out as the first 6 chapters, but what we were expecting, what the announcement had been, was 36 chapters, one at a time, that together would comprise the Cryptonation Book 1, right? And basically that stopped. And the idea was that it would be better to release the entire book all at once instead of releasing a chapter by chapter. And I think the reason for this, I'm just guessing, but I think the reason for this is that if you haven't written the whole story yet, how do you know you're going to get it right? Like, what if it turns into like a Naruto, season 6 episode where you just go off mark and you're chasing down like a ramen chef or something for like 13 episodes until you realize how far off track you are, right? Like, you don't want to like write it chapter by chapter and release it on that kind of timeline. You really want to have it all done so you can revise it and edit it and mix it up and rewrite it and get it right and then start, releasing it. So what MetaZoo had planned to do was do all that writing, and supposedly they did, and then they were going to release the book last July. That was plan number 2. There would be a premium leather-bound novel, first edition, all kind of stuff. But then that didn't happen either, right? We just got to July and it didn't happen, and then August came, it didn't happen, and now the fall has passed, it didn't happen. We're heading into the winter, and there was some talk about, well, maybe instead of a novel, we would do a manga. So here we are, and I just want to point out, I'm so excited for the original MetaZoo story. I really am. Look at these illustrated novels turned out great. If you look at the theme is good, the characters are good, the art's good. There's all these fun little aspects of it, like advertisements that relate to our real world, like Minnesota, and it's a Minnesota Iceman drinking a ice cold beverage. Like it's a whole world, and you can tell there's massive creativity in it. I'm really excited for the manga, but at this point, the truth is, at this point, I think most people are kind of at a crossroads where they're really excited about it, but they want to be shown that it's going to happen. And so MetaZoo gave us a really, really cool window into the manga. So here is like the MetaZoo original story. Here's a MetaZoo press release essentially that they put out. They gave us some like art spoilers for the manga. And we have this cool like image of Indrid Cold here. Looks good. Coloring is good. Characters are good. I like the way these pages look. But look at this timeline. This release timeline for the MetaZoo manga is really ambitious. It starts this Friday with chapter 1, and then in a week you get another one, and in 2 weeks after that, basically then after that, every 2 weeks, they say that they're going to be releasing another chapter of the manga all the way up to chapter 20, all the way through the end of July. And this would be amazing if it happens. If it happens. So I am hopeful that the reason there has been such a delay in releasing the story is because they've been working on finishing the story, and I'm so hopeful that we're about to see more of the story because of stuff like this in Topps. If you go to Topps Chrome, they have these like battle cards and lore cards that just give you these tiny little bites of the MetaZoo story, and it just makes me want more. I want battles and characters and intrigue and plot twists, and I want to see a Hodag fight I think that's a Slide Rock Bolter. I want to see this kind of stuff. MetaZoo has all of that buried in its storyline, and the manga, I just really hope that it is time for us to get this kind of stuff. I'll be collecting these. Apparently these are going to come out digitally first at MetaZooGames.com. So go to MetaZooGames.com. You'll find it there first, but they will be releasing physical copies of them at a later time. They don't say when. They just say through, some distribution or some publisher or something like that. So I'm sure they'll give us more information about that as time goes on. The reason that they are not releasing these chapters right away with physical copies is because there's some kind of a delay, I think, with the publication of the physical copies and getting them printed. Who knows? Maybe there's a delay at the manufacturer. There's shortages and delays everywhere nowadays. So that could be it. And I think maybe what's happening is MetaZoo doesn't want to wait any longer. Maybe they've got all of this teed up and they're waiting for production issues, and they're waiting for shipping or production or whatever. And so MetaZoo just wants to get it out there, and they want to get it out, and they know they're not. I think it's going to be free, and I think their primary goal. People would say, well, why won't you do it and make money off of it? And MetaZoo said their goal is to get the story out into the world. They want to reach as many people as possible and share the MetaZoo world, the MetaZoo IP, MetaZoo storyline with as many people as possible. So they're doing a worldwide online release on MetaZooGames.com and a bunch of other places as well. I don't know if that's like various manga websites or whatever. There's blogs and stuff like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this goes. The other reason that they're releasing a manga first is because it was said that a manga translates more readily into an animated show. We've seen that with a lot of other animated shows. They start with a manga. They don't start with like chapter books as often nowadays when you have this kind of animated show. So yeah, they're probably easier maybe to, to produce, and they can put out chapter by chapter, and they can kind of follow the trend that's already existed of following this up with an animated show. Do I think the show's coming anytime soon? No, I don't, but that's okay. I just want the story in some form or another so I can see what's there, because I feel like there's a lot there. There's a huge amount of potential, but I just haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen more than the first six chapters, so stay tuned. Friday is a massive moment for MetaZoo because Friday is the beginning of another chance to stay on schedule. It's Friday is the beginning of another opportunity to stick with it and to jump on this manga release schedule and to give the community something that, oh man, people have been so hungry for for so long. So I hope it works. I'm really excited about this. A lot of people are. And I guess I will see you guys on Friday when we are all reading The Shattering of the Veil. And that's all I have for now. Thank you, MetaFan, for stopping by. As always, I do appreciate this opportunity to entertain you fine peoples in MetaZoo. Until next time, have a fantastic week. This is Argos, signing out.